Today, we are observing Yom HaShoah, or Holocaust Remembrance Day. This day was established by the Israeli parliament to remember the Holocaust and the millions of souls who perished between the years 1938 and 1945. We must remain ever vigilant against hatred and bigotry. We know it's not simply a thing of the past. How a community remembers its past is the single most important element in determining its future. The Holocaust is not merely a story of destruction and loss. It is a story of an apathetic world, and a few rare individuals of extraordinary courage. We come together today to remember the individuals, families, and communities unjustly taken from this earth, in order to retell their stories so that this will never happen again. Memory is what shapes us, and memory is what teaches us. We must understand that this is where redemption lies. Between 1933 and 1945, the German government, led by Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party, carried out the systematic persecution and murder of Europe's Jews. This genocide is now known as the Holocaust, or in Hebrew, the Shoah. The Nazi regime also persecuted and killed millions of other people it considered politically, racially, or socially unfit to live. The Allies' victory ended World War II, but Nazi Germany and its collaborators had left millions dead and countless lives shattered. Today, we commemorate Yom HaShoah. This time, that was both a blight on the history of humanity, but also a shining moment for the people who were brave enough to put an end to it. We are the voice of history. We are the voice of memory. And today, we are compelled to remember the darkest times in modern history.
1933. Nazis began their action against German Jews by announcing a boycott of all Jewish-run business. The Holocaust began the same year that Adolf Hitler came to power in Germany. 1938. Kristallnacht, the Night of Broken Glass. The attacks left the streets of Germany covered with glass from the windows of Jewish-owned stores, buildings, and synagogues. Nazis terrorized Jews throughout Germany and Austria. Over 30,000 Jews were arrested the night of Kristallnacht. 1939. Jews are beginning to be forced to wear a yellow Star of David at all times, or else they would be beaten or killed by the Nazis. In addition to Jews, the Nazis targeted many other groups of people. People of different ethnic and religious backgrounds were at risk, as were people who were disabled or homosexual. Anyone who resisted the Nazis was sent to forced labor camps or murdered. 1941. The first test use of gas chambers at the concentration camp, Auschwitz. Gas chambers were used to kill 2,000 people at once. Nazis used gas chambers to murder several million people between the years of 1941 to 1945.
In my opinion, there really is no better place to talk about Yom HaShoah than right here, in Rhode Island's Holocaust Memorial.
As you can see, this memorial's walkway is lined with the drawing of train tracks, a symbolization of the Nazis' extensive railway network used to transport Jews and others to their several death camps. Their names can be seen on the other side of the memorial. Flossenburg, a camp built in the remote forest of Bavaria. Treblinka, a camp constructed in Poland during the Nazi occupation, and the largest, Auschwitz.
The name Auschwitz holds a heavy toll even when spoken. Within reason, as 10% of all those who died during the Holocaust met their fate here. There really is no way to describe the hell of arriving at a place like this, but the best attempt is to try to live through the poem Never Shall I Forget, written by Holocaust survivor Eli Wiesel, who arrived at this camp.
Never shall I forget that night, the first night in the camp, that turned my life into one long night, 7 times sealed. Never shall I forget that smoke. Never shall I forget the small faces of children whose bodies I saw transformed into smoke under a silent sky. Never shall I forget those flames that consumed my faith forever. Never shall I forget the nocturnal silence that deprived me for all eternity of the desire to live. Never shall I forget those moments that murdered my God and my soul and turned my dreams to ashes. Never shall I forget those things, even if I were condemned to live as long as God himself. Never. Poems like that one really capture the reality of life during the Holocaust, something that Yom HaShoah as a whole strives to preserve the memory of. Each year on Yom HaShoah, prayers are said in remembrance of the 11 million in order to further preserve their memory. One that really resonates is El Maleh Rachamim, or God is full of compassion, read by URI student Joshua Wind.
Al Miloi Rahamim Shehan Be'am Romim Hamse Menucha Nechona Al Kanfei Hashina B'ma'alot Kedoshim Udhorim Kezohar Haraki A Mazharim Et Nishmat Shehala Leolomo Ba'avur Shinodvu Sedaka Ba'ad Haskarat Nishmata Began Aiden Seha Sehe Menuchata Lehain Be'al Rahamim Yastir Ha Betseter Kenafav Leolamim V'yitzror Hachayim et Nishmata Adonai hu Nehalata V'tanuta B'shalom al Mishkava V'nomar Amin.
Yom HaShoah is without a doubt a somber holiday, as can be seen through the earlier poem and prayer. However, it celebrates the cultures and peoples who, throughout the entirety of the bloodshed, through bravery and perseverance, dared to survive the Nazi onslaught. It not only celebrates those cultures and peoples who persevered in the face of death of themselves and those around them, but those who, in this time of darkness, rushed to their aid.
Perhaps the best example of this would be the Polish resistance movement, which was a force of loosely connected citizen partisans who rose up in order to fight Nazi occupation. Throughout the war, Polish resistance movement members fought off Nazi forces, broke into Holocaust train cars, and freed Jews and others from what was almost certain death.
Throughout World War II, the Polish resistance freed more Holocaust victims than any other Allied unit. As perhaps a hat tip in the direction of the partisans and others like them, I would like to leave you with a final Yom HaShoah prayer titled The Partisan Song.
If there's anything that I can leave you with today, it's that this April 7th, have those who were lost and those who suffered during the Holocaust in your mind and remember them, but also celebrate and respect the bravery of entire peoples and their allies beside them who dared to survive past the darkness of their time and survive on through the oppression of the Nazis.
Never say that you're going your last way. Although the skies filled with lead cover blue days, our promised hour will soon come. Our marching steps ring out, we are here. From green lands of palm to lands with white snow, we come with our pain and our woes. And from where a spurt of our blood falls, will sprout our strength and our courage. Today the morning sun will accompany us, and our enemies will fade away with yesterday. But if the sun waits to rise, like a password, this song will go from generation to generation.
This song is written with blood and not with lead. It's not a tune sung by birds in the wild. This song was sung by people amidst collapsing walls, sung with pistols in their hands. So never say that you're going your last way. Although the skies filled with lead cover blue days, our promised hour will soon come. Our marching steps ring out, we are here.
First, they came for the socialists, but I did not speak out, for I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out, for I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak up for me. Pastor Martin Nimalar.
O Lord my God, I pray that these may never end. The sand of the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart.
Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam, hakol v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tifilat hadam. Hakol v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tifilat hadam.
Shalom and peaceful greetings. My name is Paul Bueno de Mesquita, Professor Emeritus, URI Center for Nonviolence and Peace Studies. Thank you very much to URI Hillel for the invitation to join you, be part of this special day of Yom HaShoah, Day of Remembrance. In years past, I've always joined you to speak on behalf of the URI Center for Nonviolence and Peace Studies, but also today I speak personally in memory of the 20 family relatives whom I never knew because they were systematically murdered in the Holocaust, so that their voices, once silenced, can be heard again through my voice today. I offer you these thoughts and words in memory of each of them. What are we remembering here today? First, that the Holocaust was a state-sponsored, systematic government persecution and murder. What was done in Germany then was legal. And as the late John Lewis said, we must stand up politically and nonviolently to remove or change unjust, inhumane laws and establish just laws for the good of all. Second, we must always remember to stand with the human rights victims of ongoing genocides that are happening today. The Yazidis, the Tibetans, the Yemenis, the Rohingyas in Myanmar, the Uyghurs in Northwest China, and victims around the world who are suffering genocidal kinds of persecution. Dr. King once said to us, we have guided missiles, but misguided men. So we must condemn also the insidious and ongoing genocidal violent happenings daily and weekly in our country right before our very eyes. The murdering of innocent lives because of ethnic heritage, immigrant status, skin color, gender, sexual orientation, or religious beliefs. Finally, I leave you with this call to action, not just to remember things today on the Yom HaShoah, but each and every day. We must stand against the biases and attitudes of discrimination and prejudice and hatred that fuel genocides. Let us have the courage to speak up and confront hate whenever and wherever it occurs. Dr. King taught us we are all in this life together. He said we are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of human destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects us all indirectly. This is the interrelated nature of reality. He reminded us, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. It's up to each of us to prevent the next genocide. We must use our courage to act and our love and compassion for all. Thank you.
In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. I simply can't build up my hopes on a foundation consisting of confusion, misery, and death. I see the world gradually being turned into a wilderness. I hear the ever-approaching thunder, which will destroy us too. I can feel the sufferings of millions, and yet, if I look up into the heavens, I think that it will all come right, that this cruelty too will end, and that peace and tranquility will return again.